needs, and you don't pay for them. Now, if you want a bigger house, if you want a more, right, and you work for that and you pay for that. But in my world, nobody pays for water. Nobody pays for the basics. You want more, then that's a want, and you pay for that. Same with education, right? But the education as well should be, because education is, it's structured and it's for the benefit of business. They forecast for what the business needs are going to be in a certain number of years. And then the people who are on the board of education, if you have a look for that, they're all business people. In fact, I can't remember his name, but the guy who's Secretary for Education, he's been one of his chief whips in politics, and he's been business person, and he's been running pubs and breweries, parts of them, and it's all business. He's in the role of the whip. It's getting people to vote the way that you want them to vote, and it's pushing through the agendas for business. That's not education for our kids. It's not. I've also written a restructure for education. Kids can learn a lot more, a lot sooner than they are, but also they're I'll go into that in a bit. But yeah, the opportunities to live and learn, the travel, basic travel for your needs. What do you need to do? These needs should all be free. It shouldn't cost people. If you want to do more, then that's what you work towards and you pay. But also the people who need, they have a role. They have roles in the community. The things that they need, they take responsibility for and help out. It can be done far simpler, and when we don't have people hungry and living on the streets then, right? Education, they do better at this at primary, but in secondary schools, although there's some great teachers and great support through that, kids emotionally and mentally, there's quite I know they have some pastoral support. That's mainly sort of problem solving, really, but the delivery of emotional awareness and regulation should be built into the education that we're trying to give our children. Productivity, this is where all the business side of it comes in, which is data, which is analysis, which is then looking at what do we have at this level, and then organising where do we want that to be. But this is one section, whereas business at the minute is controlling the whole thing, and it should be people led. People are being turned into a bit of a commodity, right? And that is more evident through schools. I went to my son's school meeting the other day, the options meeting, and the life skills, right? Everything's focused around business and particular attainments, and the life skills which a lot of young people are going to need. Right? They're not even putting a qualification to it. They're not even putting a qualification to it now. And what's going to happen, and I know this because I've worked in schools, is a lot of people are going to go in options. They're going to get halfway through year 10, then they're going to start to struggle with the pressure or the academic learning, because everybody's different, and the map that they've got planned out is it's not for everybody. But what happens is this sort of people fall away, and then the people who are left, they go, yep, you can go to business, right? This is where we need you. And everybody else is left sort of struggling through life. So there's a lot of that, right? But you've got the 4 areas, right? Health, education, living, right? Or loving, loving life, and productivity. And that's the gate. Right? That is the gate that we can open together. And yes, I did come up with these myself. I didn't do a Google search for these. So let me just touch on, education just for a minute or two, because this is how sort of bullet pointed it really is. Well, I say bullet. And a lot of it is play. In fact, if you help backwards, say it, play. Right? We need, and as well as this is the way it says, Jesus said that you need to become like little children, because you need to play, you need to enjoy life a little bit more, a lot more, right? And use your imagination more, not just follow the circle downhill to the pit of despair, being in a role that you don't enjoy, right, for 40 years, and then come on, it could be better than that. So here we go. So we're talking from sort of like 4 or 5 years of age till 7. Is a lot of mental and emotional support, right? When kids are throwing tantrums, and in fact, you could even go earlier because they say they're terrible twos. But I've been a single parent for 9 years. I've got 3 boys, and my youngest was 3 when I was on my own with them and doing a full-time senior manager, a full-time job, and a single parent of 3 kids. I know what I'm talking about. So a lot of mental and emotional support, and taking the time to say, why we don't do certain things, and how we feel and how to react. There's a lot of adults still struggle with this, right? Especially boys, because boys don't get shown. And then what happens is, when they get to sort of early teenage years, it sort of spills out as a, frustration, a bit of aggression, and then they get labelled, and then they get sort of pigeonholed to one side, and society doesn't treat them very fair when they've been labelled as that then. And also girls have got a lot of pressure, because they've got pressure to try and keep up with boys with this competition that's been sort of fuelled up since the 60s, and also the expectation that they're the mother, the parent, they're the one who's going to deal with all this emotional. So there's a lot of pressure on both sexes in different ways. So a lot of mental and emotional support, but also a lot of play, right? Loads of play, good observations, and a lot of this does happen in primaries, right? And my youngest is just finishing off primary now, right? And really good primary school, good teachers, loads of them are, the people who are really bothered, they really are, but the structure that they're working in doesn't support them properly. So then you've got sort of 7 to 10, right? The observations that have been made, you then get them to experience as many different hobbies, interests, right? Sports, readers, different higher, level subjects, and their own interests. What are they interested in? And yes, our interests do change over time, but get them to try as many different ones as possible over this period, right? 10 to 13 is pretty much what they should be doing. what they're doing at secondary school now until they're sort of 16. Well, it says until they're 18 now, but they can do this within this period of time, right? The higher topics, right? And then 13 to 17, they can be doing the university level, right? For those people who can. Now, to the other ones, the life skills, there's so many different areas. But this is where the data and the business process comes in, is because there's constant assessments of, okay, how many want to do this? No, put a circle. How many want to do this? How many want to do that? And it's building the right facilities and keep adapting them, which we can do. You can't run this on outcome and targets. You can't.